Hello everyone, good evening. Patricius Jiwanono here again. Now I'm going to talk about metaphor. If you are into writing short stories or novels or poems or any other literary work, this is quite useful for you. Metaphor is quite a useful and powerful means of expressing your ideas, of expressing your thoughts, and it can invoke this kind of special feeling in your readers. Okay, without further ado, let's dive to my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go again with our topic, metaphor. This is taken from this book. Someone named Kortman in 2020 wrote this book, and I took it from his book about metaphor. First of all, let me define what metaphor is. According to the textbook, it is defined as a figure of speech in which two objects from two different areas are related. And then I offer a simple definition, which hopefully is easier for you to understand. Number two is a linguistic expression which describes an object as if it were another object. See, so there are two things, and one of them is being related or being compared to another thing. One thing is being described as if it were another thing. That's metaphor. So, for example, you have a metaphor here in this sentence. Your words hurt me and my heart has been bleeding ever since. Notice the bold-faced word hurt here. So here your words is likened to a knife. It is described as if it were a knife which can hurt people physically. And the heart here, my heart here, is being likened or being described as if it were a flesh that is cut and then bleed. So now you can see how metaphors look like when it comes to the real sentence, the real use of language. Yeah. Describing one thing as if it were something else. That's metaphor. Now, this is very valuable when you want to make a dramatic point in your essay, when you are writing a novel or writing poems. Yeah. This can be a very powerful way of evoking a certain emotion. And yeah, metaphor is very powerful for that purpose. Now, let me continue with the examples of metaphors. So metaphors can utilize or can rely on comparison to animal. So for example, she is a snake. She is dangerous and cunning. Or that boy is a horse. He works 8 hours straight without resting. See, this is the metaphor. A human being is compared to an animal. Yeah. Second one is called synaesthetic metaphor. So from one field of sensory perception to another area. Something is described from one field of sensory perception, sight, hearing, feeling, touching, smelling, yeah. And it is extended or it is described, it is used to describe another area. So for example, you have examples here, loud colors. Now the colors are very bright and very boisterous, yeah, very outstanding in your eyes. You would say, oh, these are very loud colors, as if the colors have sounds which we can hear with our sensory perception. Another one is a soft voice, and then also sharp voice. Again, this is a metaphor, and it refers to, or it makes use of our sensory perception. Yeah. Another example is an anthropomorphic metaphor. Now this one uses human body parts to describe something. So for example, you have arm of a river and foot of a mountain, as if the river and the mountain have some parts like human beings. They are being described as if they are the body parts of a human. Okay. Now, if you are a writer, you can be very creative in creating metaphors. So human beings are very creative when it comes to creating their own metaphors, and this is typical in literary works. So if you are quite into writing essays or writing short stories or novels or poems, then you can make use of this very powerful means of triggering certain emotion in your reader's mind. So, for example, I have a line from Emily Dickinson's novel here. My life had stood a loaded gun in corners. And another one taken from Khairil Anwar, a very famous Indonesian poet. Aku adalah binatang jalang dari kumpulannya yang terbuang. Wow, you would feel amazing. This is brutally amazing. And that's the power of metaphors in literary works. Okay, yeah. Another example is now it refers to something conceptual. So the features or the characteristics of light are often described to thoughts, knowledge, or intellect. So, for example, you have a phrase like illuminating ideas, murky discussion, and bright person. You have this bold-faced word. Illuminating is a characteristic of a light. Murky is also a characteristic of light. When the light is dim, you have a murky, not very bright. It's dim, it's not bright, it's murky, yeah, gloomy. Yeah. Bright person, a person can be described using the feature of light, yeah, using the word bright there. And then in war, the features of war or the characteristics of war are applied to verbal argument. It's used to describe verbal argument. For example, you have the examples. His comments were right on target. The right on target here is a phrase, it's a metaphorical phrase, because this is taken from the characteristic of war. Yeah. And then attack your viewpoint. Again, this is attack is taken from the characteristic of a war. Yeah, as if the speaker or somebody else really attacks your viewpoint with his or her arguments. Okay. Another one is money. Sometimes money, the characteristics of money is used to describe language. For example, you have coin new words. Coin new words means invent new words, create new words. Yeah, you know the word coin here is taken from characteristic of money. And richness in expressions. Richness is also has something to do with money, right? And this is applied to language. Richness in expressions means the expressions are varied, are rich, are different, not monotonous. Yeah. And then characteristics of being up and down sometimes applied to describe personal well-being, which concerns health or status, social status. He feels down. Down here is a metaphorical expression. It is, of course, it has something to do with being up and down. She rises to the top. Again, this is another metaphorical word. Rises, yeah. Fall from power. Fall is another metaphorical expression, which is taken from this field. This is taken from this area of being up and down. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, and stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye, and see you again in my next episode.